Hello ladies, so this is just an example for exercise 1 via WhatsApp. Quite a few of you said you don't have enough data for Teams, so this is for exercise 1. I'm doing C of exercise 1. If 3 tan beta equals to -2 and beta is from 0 to 180, determine without the use of a calculator. Ladies, this is very important. You can't use a calculator where's my pen now? Okay. You can't use a calculator because the moment you use a calculator, we actually give you 0. And you have to use with the aid of the diagram. And so this is where you start. You have your cast table. Okay? So now, first of all, we need to figure out how my diagram is going to look. So we start by saying, right, so therefore 3 tan beta equals to -2, which means tan beta will equal to -2 over 3, right? So it's either -2 over 3, or we can write it as -2 over 3, or we can write it as 2 over -3. I'll show you now why this is important. Okay, so tan, if we look at SOHCAHTOA, is opposite over adjacent, right? So that'll be the opposite side, that'll be the adjacent side. They gave us some more information here. They said it's only from 0 to 180, which means we're not using these two quadrants, right? Tan is negative. In what quadrant is tan negative? Tan is negative, obviously, between these two quadrants in the second quadrant. So your diagram will look like that. Let me just get the ruler so that I can draw a nice straight line. There we go. And then there we go. And do a nice straight line just so that it can look neat. Okay, so if we look here, this is positive y and this is negative x. Now the reason why I told you it can be -2 over 3 or -2 over 3 or 2 over -3, the opposite side is on the positive y, which means this is going to be positive 2. This is the negative side of x, which means this will be -3. So that's how you know how to allocate your negative. Your negative doesn't necessarily belong to your numerator. It belongs to the whole fraction. Right, so now what we have to calculate here is we have to calculate the radius. Well, we call it r because if you draw this and you use your compass, you can actually draw a circle. So that's why we refer to it as the radius, as this is the midpoint, because in grade 12 you'll be doing you will be doing graphs which include circles. Right, so r squared will then equal to 2 squared plus -3 squared, and that would equal to 13. Therefore, r will equal to square root of 13. So now we got our square root. Now we have our r value. So now we have all the sides. We have the hypotenuse. If you don't want to work with r, you can work with hypotenuse. Okay? So now I can actually go and answer my questions. Right. Now the first question they ask here is calculate cos beta. So cos beta Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent side in this case is -3, and the hypotenuse is square root of 13. And that's where you stop. A lot of girls actually go and put this ratio into the angle. No. The trig identity and the angle equals to a ratio. So that whole thing is equal to the ratio. Let's quickly do number 2. 2 sine beta minus 1. So that'll be 2 sine square beta. So that'll be 2. Sine is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so to make sure that I don't get confused, I substitute the entire trig identity with its ratio. So that'll be 2. So the opposite angle is 2. And the hypotenuse is square root of 13 squared. Right, so that'll be 2 times, if I square 4, 2 squared is 4, 13, square root of 13 squared is 13. So if I multiply the 2 in, that'll be 8 over 13 minus 1. And that equals to -5 over 13. Right. And so now we have the last one, which is right. So the last one that we are doing, they want to know the value of square root of 13 cos beta minus 13 sine square beta. Right, so that will equal square root of 13. Now it's adjacent over hypotenuse, which means it'll be -3 over square root of 13 minus 13. Sine is opposite. Sine is opposite, which is 2 over square root of 13 squared. Right, so now that'll be square root of 13 over 1 times by -3 over square root of 13. That'll be 13 over 1. 2 squared is 4. Square root of 13 squared is 13. So these two will cancel with one another. Those two will cancel with one another. And you'll end up with -3 minus 4. And that will equal -7. And that is it.